Y'all, see how you can see my breath? My car, which had a thermometer on it ages ago, suddenly got the thermometer back. Oh, it's gone again. It said it was 20 degrees Celsius out. And all I could think was, no, that does not make any sense.
That's off-putting.
You should be off-putting.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding.
Chicks and ducks and geese better scurry.
It stinks.
My kitty and I are hanging out in the bed. It's only 5, but it looks very dark because it's winter. I just want to say for the record that I've been told by many people on the internet how bad the new Star Trek series is, and it's not even out yet. I'm gonna need everybody to shut the fuck up. Also, I don't actually care if you don't like it. I don't care if I don't like it. It's actually... I don't care. It just is what it is. Haters gonna hate or some shit. Didn't I say last video that I don't like Taylor Swift? I don't, but that doesn't make that an untrue statement. Happy Thursday morning, everybody. I am on my way to work. I got my coffee. I'm trying to catch up. I was in the worst mood yesterday, so I'm trying to catch up a lot of things now because I left work a little early, even though like I was over on my hours, so it's not like I needed to stay at work, but also I didn't need to leave early. And now there's a couple things I think I have to do. And I'm off Friday, so I have to do shit today. I've been kind of just moving forward, trying to get things done as best I can. I'm kind of not really holding myself accountable for what I get done. I'm just kind of like, are you getting stuff done? Are you moving forward? And I feel like that's plenty for right now. No, the other option is not. And I very well could be doing nothing. I could like quit my job and rot. That sounds so good. It's been a hard week. I'm having a hard time with just about everything. And then yesterday it suddenly got like hella cold again. I don't mind the cold necessarily, but like if we could stay in the same, I don't know, like within 40 degrees of the temperature the day before would be cool. I don't know, but I'm not dead, so I suppose given the alternative to that being true, good, I guess. I feel very unsupported right now. In my house is fine, but like the people that I traditionally would have called my friends locally, I feel like they're not very interested in, like, I don't know, getting along and not being fucking assholes. I'm not trying to make like a big to-do about anything. I feel very overwhelmed about life right now. And I feel like I'm in a constant state of very overwhelmed about life right now. So I don't really know what to do with that other than, once again, point forward and just try to go. So I'm off tomorrow, and then Monday's a holiday, so I have a 4-day weekend, which is great. And then my husband is out of town, so I'm like cat mom extraordinaire for the next week. Yes, I love being cat mom, but it's a lot all by myself because we have a sick cat. It's kind of fucking fascinating to me that the universe has decided that I will always be blessed with a cat who needs medications every day and or some other treatment, like Mr. Crowley had to get subcutaneous fluids every day. You can't just like ask someone if they could come over and feed your cat when they have those problems. Back when I had normal cats that did not have medical problems, I'd say, hey, could you take care of my cats for 3 days? And they say, sure. What do you want me to do? And I say, come over, pour some food in a bowl, pat him on the head, tell him you like him.
He will need to be fed once a day. He prefers feline supplement number 25.
I understand.
And he will require water. And you must provide him with a sandbox. And you must talk to him. Tell him he's a pretty cat. And a good cat.
It doesn't go over the same way when you're like, okay, so what you do is you get inside and you shake the food so that he comes out, and then you have to close all the doors in the house and corner him somewhere. If he gets behind something you can't get to, you have to get a squirt bottle out because he doesn't like the sound of the water, so you can shake it, he'll usually just run out. But then you have to hold him down, and you have to shove a syringe in his mouth, and you have to forcibly shove liquid in his mouth. Then he's going to pretend that he's dying for about 2.5 minutes. And then after that, he'll be fine again. Like, who's signing up for that? Who are these people? Like,
I will feed him.
Perhaps that will be enough.
that's the kind of job that you sign up for because you already love the animal, or because you're Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors. Hi, I'm trying to get back to my office. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone talk about this, and so I just kind of need to talk. I'm at the point where, like, I just want to finish stuff, and I'm scared that what it's doing to my brain is that it is making it... Okay, you're going the wrong way in a one-way, my friend. So you get to this point where you've, like, been dealing with a story for, ages. And as much as you love the story and as proud as you are of the work you've done on it, you're just exhausted with reliving the story over and over and over again. And so your desire becomes nothing more than to have it be completed. And I do think sometimes that lends itself to not letting your story finish itself, not letting it be top tier, because re-editing and reworking and all that is exhausting. It feels like doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, which we all know is not terribly rational. So I just don't really know what to do with my desire to just be done. One of the things you could do, I suppose, would be shelving something and then coming back to it later. But, like, it's getting close to being done. It's done enough that I'm annoyed that it's not done. So would shelving it really be the best answer? Because to me, that feels like a good way to just have it still not be done. But I have such a hard time focusing on something that I've been over so many times. And then at some point you're like, well, is it done enough? And I realize that's probably not great, but goddamn, I just want it to be done enough. It's exhausting how hard it is to finish something, especially if you really want to get it as tight as possible and you don't have the money to hire like a whole bunch of people to help. And like, can I hire some people? Probably. I probably could. I definitely can't hire a whole bunch of people. Anyway, I don't know. That's how I feel about Hellbend right now. I don't dislike the story. In fact, I really like the story. I'm very proud of it. But like, there's just enough work left to be done that I'm like, I don't know, is it worth it? So tired of doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's Friday, it's just a little afternoon. I'm honestly a little sleepy, and since I didn't stream last night and I need to stream tonight for sure, I probably should get a nap in. And then maybe, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll get ready for stream. Maybe I won't get ready for stream. I might be like this. We'll see. I like to surprise myself. So it's like, I don't know, getting to be 5 maybe? I'm restarting my computer because it's having a whole ass fucking fit. So I figured I may as well restart it now before stream. Looks like we're gonna play golf. I'm feeling kind of funny, but I don't know how, like, emotionally. Like, I don't know what it is. Something's happening in my head, on my bed. Maybe I'm just tired. I'm thinking about being in bed. Also, that was my computer restarting. I didn't just like lose. Y'all, see how you can see my breath? My car, which had a thermometer on it ages ago, suddenly got the thermometer back. Oh, it's gone again. It said it was 20 degrees Celsius out. And all I could think was, no, that does not make any sense. So I'm gonna go get coffee, and then I'm going to come home and I'm going to work on my video. Particularly, I believe I'm going to record some additional footage because I don't have a lot, and there was stuff I wanted to talk about that isn't so easy to just jaw jack about while I'm driving a car. That my steering wheel is so cold that my hands hurt. And I couldn't keep track of a pair of gloves if my life depended on it. So yeah, we'll finish our conversation about writing in the last clip. But if I forgot, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I try to put out a video on Sundays. Sometimes it's Mondays. Sometimes I miss it. I'm trying my best over here. I probably get, 40 videos a year. Probably. So it's not like I don't put out videos. Plus, sometimes when the mood strikes, I just start letting out a slew of bonus videos. So if you're here, you may get surprised with some bonus videos, and that would be cool. Yeah. Let's talk about writing stuff. Alrighty, guys, so we are back. I am doing something a little different today. I wanted to talk a little bit about some online book discourse, online book drama, that kind of thing. Today we're watching a video by a book club. Her name is Ashton, talking about Book Talk is asking unemployed people to disclose their status, and it is wild. I haven't watched any of this. I really like Ashton. It's only about 20 minutes long, so that should help manage some of my shit here. So I apologize if y'all look at this and you go, the fuck are you doing, Sarah? Sarah doesn't know. Sarah's just doing her best. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. I will pause if I need to. If you want to watch the original video, the link will be down below. I'm going to try to put one in a card as well. But yeah, I'm going to interrupt the video. So if you want to watch the whole video in its entirety in a straight line, go to her channel and watch her video.
Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Ashton from Lo-Fi Book Club, and listen, we have the same old argument or debate at the end of every fucking year with everyone's book wrap-ups. A creator took it a little further and came for the people who read lots of books but are also unemployed, which means that they have more time and energy to read. I mean, I don't agree, but we'll get into that after.
No, man, we're really getting into it here. All right. I am a full-time job outside of my writing life person. I am a person who has felt frustration, feeling like having these other responsibilities decreases the amount of time I have to give to reading and writing. I have experienced this. I understand it. That does not mean that the people who don't work are at fault for the things I have to do. I don't feel like that invalidates what they do with their time in their life.
And for my most controversial take on this app, let me just say, if you are an unemployed person, please do not give any of us on this app your take on, I read 100 books a year. It's possible. Baby, we know it's possible for you. You don't have a job.
Number one, pretty basic math problem. The less responsibility you have, the more time you have to do things you enjoy. Yes, that's true. That's true. If you have less responsibilities, you have more time to enjoy things. But the thing that we don't take into account here in this moment of bookish melody telling us how things are going to be is that people who don't have jobs aren't necessarily sitting at home with their thumb up their ass. Not having a job because you are incapacitated in some way is likely not giving you a whole lot of extra time. You probably have more time to care for yourself, more time spent with doctors, more time spent dealing with day-to-day life. So that's already a fallacy, because your implication is that our choices are full-time day job or do nothing with my time. Also, not punching a clock doesn't mean that you're not working. For instance, a full-time writer does not work hours the way I, who work at a law office, works hours. When I'm writing, like freelance, or if I'm working on something, my writing time is not laid out like a day job, like a desk job. My writing time is laid out in a much more malleable way. I can write at 2 a.m, I can write at midnight, I can write at noon, I can write, I can write any time that I'm not at my day job. And for some day jobs, you can write while you're at your day job. But the nature of the of the job of writing or the nature of spending your time reading is just that it's different.
You don't clock in. Now, that being said, can an unemployed person and an employed person read 100 books? Yes. I'm not saying if you read 100 books, you're unemployed. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you know that you're unemployed and you read 100 books, maybe don't come on here telling other people, well, maybe if you just put down your phone, like you could read 100 books too. You could just do it by like getting off your phone and like spending less screen time.
Maybe we're all kind of being ridiculous, getting in each other's business about what can and can't be done and what we're spending our time on. We all have a give and take. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. Everyone has to choose what to do with their hours. If you choose to read books with your time, you're not going to have time to do the other things that you might want to do with your time. If you choose to do the other things with your time, you might not have time to read books. That's not a judgment on either choice. That's just the way time works. There's a finite amount of time. We all make choices of how we spend our time. You might spend your time at your day job. You might spend your time reading. You might spend your time with your children. None of those are invalid ways to spend your time. And being mad at other people because they made a different choice is wild.
Baby, you're not clocking in ever. You don't clock in, period. Don't tell someone else that they can read the same amount of books as you if they like got off their phone. Like, I don't know. And I think it's when people don't preface their videos by saying, I read 130 books this year. By the way, I don't have a job. When you don't preface your book, like your video with that, people that are amazed by your ability to read so many books while having a job are like, how do you have time?
If you read books that are 2,000 pages, you're probably going to read less books. If you read books that are 60 pages, if I read exclusively books that were of the length of the Mice and Men, I would have a huge list. So like also the length of the book you're reading enters into this. It's more than just, oh, I read 100 books. And also, the number of books only matters if you let it matter. I would argue that you can read 10 books and get more out of them than the person who's reading 100 books, depending on how you read them and what you take away from them. We all spend time doing stuff that's a waste of our time. We live in the future. We don't have to make everything from scratch. We don't live in a time where you have to fashion something. If you want it, you can go buy a pre-made thing. So we're all making choices with what to do with our time. And I don't think it's necessarily your place to decide whether or not someone else's choice is appropriate.
I'd like to know what comments she's seen or videos she's watched of people like flexing that they've read so much because they don't have a job. I don't feel like...
I do think this is one of those situations where we have someone on the internet or a handful of someone on the internet who are saying, I'm seeing comments where people are acting like this or that, and maybe there aren't any. I do believe this might be one of those situations where the people who are throwing fits are responding to people throwing fits, and none of those people are real, and they're just either butthurt about a single comment they got that they felt wasn't nice enough, or they're making up some sort of contentious argument that doesn't really exist anywhere.
You're also assuming that people who don't have jobs have the energy to read, are mentally in the right state of mind to read. Let's look at some responses that articulate it better than I ever could. I like this take from Lily over on BookTok.
Her controversial opinion fails to consider the emotional and mental toll that unemployment can take on a person. It fails to consider the amount of time that unemployed people put into job hunting, into resume prepping, into making cover letters every single day.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you specifically to Lily's Bookshelf, I believe was her name. You don't know what somebody is doing with all of their time, and there are plenty of people who are unemployed who have other responsibilities that are not considered typical employment. Someone who is home 24 hours a day caring for an ailing parent. Is that person unemployed? Are they lazy? No, and to be real, if that feels gray to you, I'm not quite sure how prepared you are to discuss nuance. And if you're not prepared to discuss nuance, then I don't know why you're getting involved in discussions like this, because these are all conversations to be had that involve nuance.
Section of that video. So here's one says, the criteria is so narrow. Your 100+ books only count if they're a length I deem appropriate, and if you read in a format that I approve. approve of, but also lay out for me your schedule on a day-to-day basis, because if it's all different than mine, it also doesn't count. And just so right, like, why are you putting like these boundaries on people?
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is that people read at different rates. People take different things away from different books. Someone who's reading to learn how to write better, someone who's reading because they want to write a romance and they haven't read much romance, they're going to read that book slower and more intently, and they're going to look for different things than a person who's reading because they want to read the romance and they want to feel the love and they want to identify with these characters. The purpose of the reading does matter as well. What percentage of what you're reading needs to be retained? Because the fact of the matter is that if you're reading for enjoyment and your entire plan is to read a book, enjoy it, and then move on to the next book, why do you need to retain? If you're a person like me, whose entire, like, the reason I like something is because it has like a heavy lore, or because it has like a lot of information to offer or whatever, that is a retention heavy type of reading. But not all reading is for retention, and sometimes just enjoying the story is not only good enough, but exactly what you're trying to do.
We don't know the life other people have, so why attack them on something so inconsequential, such as tips on how to read more books?
The fact of the matter is that people take a lot of joy out of telling other people how to live their lives. This is part of the reason that I have left a number of social media platforms, particularly Facebook. You see where somebody says, I have a flat tire, can someone recommend a good towing company? And 6 people recommend towing companies. Obviously, 6 towing companies are not going to tow my car, so I pick one. 3 of the other people are irritated I didn't use theirs, and the 5th one will never speak to me again because I didn't use their tow company. We need to get away from this. The way I do things is right. This is right. That's right. I don't feel like that does us any good. Asserting that something is the right way to do something, or reading books is right if you have a job already, really puts in like a roadblock that nobody signed up for, and you weren't given the right to make those choices for other people. You are not the decider of what's valid and what's not valid. If you don't like how someone reads, you have a absolute option to never watch their content.
Here someone says, I think we're at a point in society where reading at least 1 book a year is pretty good, considering I've spoken to people who haven't read since high school. But having beef with how many books a person reads is wild.
There are tons of people who never read a book when they leave school. They have no interest in it. And guess what? I'm gonna say something controversial. That's a valid experience too. If you're not going to enjoy reading, there is no reason to waste all your time on it. Now, I would argue that even if you don't enjoy reading, that you probably would enjoy getting information on some topic that reading would bring you. Ultimately, if you don't enjoy reading, you're probably not going to spend 100 books worth of time reading.
And again, someone says, dude, who cares? You read 1 book? Cool. You read 1,000 books? Cool. It's weird to care that much about how much people are reading. Why do we do this every year?
All right. So why do we do this every year? Honestly, it's because it gets views. It's because it gets clicks. I mean, let's be 100% real. The reason that it's being talked about on YouTube is because it gets views and clicks. And people have feelings about it. And so here we are.
Exactly. Why do we do this? I mean, I don't know. Why do people do this every fucking year?
That is one of the things that kind of blows my mind about this whole situation is like, what is going on with these people that their entire life is dictated and spelled out by whether I read enough books or how I spent my time? Why don't you pay attention to what you're doing? If you're unhappy that you read 40 books last year, then you should aim for 41. I don't know why Leslie and Joe over there reading 100 books is bothering you. Stay in your fucking lane. What does them reading 100 books or 1,000 books or 1,000,000 books have to do with you? Read what you read. Do what you do. Why are you worried about what some other people are doing?
You don't clock in.
And I think it's silly to say unemployed people can't get on here and tell you how they're able to read XYZ amount of books a year. They might just be better than you.
Let's be absolutely real. People who are comfortable speed reading regularly read a normal length book in 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days per book for someone who is a speed reader who is investing a moderate amount of time, even with a full-time job, and a couple hours a day. They're probably going to break 100. Also, I personally know in the YouTube writing community, people who have full-time jobs who read so many books. People with full-time jobs write their own books, make YouTube videos, do live streams. Maybe, I don't know, have a significant other, perhaps date or take care of children, or have a relationship with a family member that is not next door, or they care for someone who needs assistance, and they're still reading. Also, unemployed doesn't mean not spoken for. Unemployed means they do not have a traditional employment. Unemployed does not mean they have no responsibilities. And pretending that those two things are equal is ridiculous. Someone who has kids they're caring for, someone who has a family member who is ill who they're caring for, someone who has their own medical condition that they are caring for, or a hybrid of those things. Those people have responsibilities. Also, the reason that we used to do where one family member went out and worked and one person stayed home and took care of the house is because taking care of your house is a whole fucking job.
Out the time to do it. They made sure that their screen time was at a minimum, and they were still able to do the things that they were able to do. I don't understand this argument. And then in the comments with you agreeing with a lot of these people just read audiobooks.
So someone says here, I feel like a lot of people who say they read a ridiculous amount of books are actually listening to audiobooks.
Okay. This is what I was hoping we weren't gonna do. I love an audiobook. My personal audiobook preference is that I either read a physical book along with the audiobook, or I listen to a book I've already read, because my audio processing is not as strong as my visual processing. That does not mean that every other person who wants to listen to an audiobook as their first read or their only read is not reading. I have no idea why we act like audiobooks are an invalid form of reading. I'm just not going to abide it. We're not going to discuss it because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Very ableist. Very ableist. I thought that this argument was done 2 years ago, but it's so ableist. Listening to audiobooks is the same thing as reading a book, right? You're going to go and tell me that someone who is physically unable to read a physical book, but they are able to listen to an audiobook, you're going to tell them that that's not reading? You jokers get on this app every day, and I'm not even surprised anymore because y'all sound like a bunch of idiots. And you put it with, here's my controversial take. Like, it's not a controversial take, it's just stupid. And then you're mad when people are arguing with your controversial take.
It pisses me off when people act like reading 100+ books a year means you're reading 5 books a day. It's literally a few a week.
In the comments.
Someone else says, bestie, I work 2 full-time jobs and I'm at 203. Relax. Melly replies with, not the point. Oh my god, you read 203 books but still can't understand the point of my video. Like,
what did you think was going to happen, Boogie? And what are you going to tell students who don't clock in at a job? They just go to school and they come home and they're still able to read a good amount of books. That's not a job. They're just clocking in somewhere else for their education. You're going to tell them that doesn't count because you're unemployed. You see how stupid that sounds? That it's not clicking for me up here that y'all are still mad that people read more books than you, no matter what they're doing with their lives. They carve out that time to do it. Whatever. I don't know. Just shut up. It's not controversial. It's stupid.
Bree makes a good point that even if you're unemployed, doesn't mean you're not doing anything. Mentally, you could be worried about money, life, health, relationships, fucking politics, the world going to shit. I don't fucking know. There's so much shit going on.
Yes, you don't clock in.
This is truly getting out of hand. So now, in order to listen to someone's advice on how many books they are able to read in a year, they need to state their full occupation on this app for you to believe them, for you to give them some kind of validation on why now you should actually listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point where somebody's like, you said you read those books. I'm going to need to see your CV.
We start seeing people's reading wrap-ups. Here we go with this conversation on the validity of how many books you read. And if you read audiobooks, that doesn't count. And if you're unemployed, that doesn't count. calm down. Just say that you're jealous. That's what it's giving. It's just giving that you are not okay with the amount of books that you've read. So now you need to pinpoint reasons why someone else read more than you in their actual situation. Because my process is, if someone's unemployed, and I've been unemployed before, the last thing I'm going to do is want to even pick up a book.
Okay, so I suppose I probably should weigh in on this part. I thought maybe I would stop here, but I probably should weigh in on this part. I am a horror writer. I am a horror reader. Horror is frequently considered to be trashy. I don't actually give a shit what your opinion is of what I'm reading. Part of the reason I don't talk about what I read is because it swiftly turns into a judgment of whether or not what I read is valid. And it's all valid. It's all valid. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not.
Isn't bragging. That's an accomplishment. She's literally sharing her accomplishment for the year. I don't understand where the bragging comes in. Like, that's something that she's just celebrating.
All right, next question. Is it a valid job to do sex work then? I would argue it is. But if reading romance and erotica is reading smut, and those are worthless, then does the person who has a day job as a sex worker have no valid reading, or is all of their reading valid?
Here we go. Here are some jealous fucking dickheads writing in the comments. Most fiction is slop. Reading 100 trashy fiction books is the equivalent of watching hours of reality TV. Only truly great fiction should be considered reading. There we go again. It's like that. You're only smart if you read fucking classical books. I don't fucking know, like Tolstoy and fucking Anna Karenina and that shit. I'm sorry, I really hate Anna Karenina. I hate it. Someone says, I didn't realise smut books count as books. Tell you what, I tell you fucking what, I didn't realise that your self-help books were considered as reading books. You know, How to Please a Woman for Dummies, you know, those kind of books. Or How to Not Be an Incel. I don't fucking know. But they don't fucking count if smut books don't count, honestly. There is no flex. I don't know why I'm getting so angry about this. There is no flex in proving you read 120 books. Congrats to that, but let's be honest, are you better than academia's students who spend more than a year reading textbooks, articles, journals to become experts in their field?
At what point is someone saying, look at all these books I read, them telling you they're better than you? Your insecurities are not that person's problem. Just because you think that makes them better than you doesn't mean they think that makes them better than you. Your touchiness at how few books you read last year is not the problem of the person who read 120. And you don't get to invalidate what they read because you read nothing. Go fuck yourself.
Love to read too, but you got to socialize a little bit. Don't be this lonely. Go out, watch a movie with a friend or two, and an unnecessary comment.
These people have also never heard of like a book club or reading friends or like, I don't know, having a conversation about a fucking book after you read it. Do you think that if you read a book, you can never speak about it? It's not Voldemort, it's a fucking book.
Oh my god, someone else put, hood books don't count. Where are the self-development books? Fuck you and fuck your self-development books, your self-help books. Oh, if you read self-help books, that is great for you. But do not, I wouldn't say, well, I mean, they do count as reading. You're still reading a book, but fuck that, honestly. Again, people policing it. Is it classical? Like, is it written by a good enough author for them? Is it long enough for people to think, like, yeah, that counts? Has to be a physical book, not an ebook, because apparently everyone can afford and has access to physical books.
Oh, and now we're not allowed to read ebooks. I didn't catch that part previously in other discourse around this. Not everyone lives in America where we have like massive amounts of space and where stuff is the measure of your worth. I know plenty of people who read probably over 100 books a year, who almost all of them are ebooks. Why? Because they live in a place where owning hundreds of books is literally impossible. I don't understand how we live in an internet era where everybody is in connection with like people from all kinds of different backgrounds, and yet we have literally no insight into what matters. Like, how do you not understand that different cultures have different needs and different norms and different expectations, and that those things are going to affect the long term of how other things work. I feel like the internet was supposed to open us up to each other, and this is proof that it closed us off more. But if I forgot, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I try to put out a video on Sundays. Sometimes it's Mondays. Sometimes I miss it. I'm trying my best over here. I probably get, I don't know, 40 videos a year. What the what?